Do you ever feel like you're working harder than ever to make your life the way you want it, but getting half the results you used to? It could be that you are trying to live a new chapter of your life while you're wearing the heavy armor from the last one. Today, we're going to talk about why your new life at maybe 40 or 50 or 60 or beyond is demanding a new version of you, and the one scary, necessary thing you have to do to step into it. So let's look at where you are right now. Maybe your career has shifted and you've hit a ceiling, or maybe you've retired, or the ambition for your job just isn't there anymore. Or maybe it's in your relationships where you're feeling the change. The kids have moved out, or your role as a parent or a partner may feel completely different than it did 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. You may feel a pull towards something new, a simpler life, or maybe a more meaningful life. So you try to live it. You do some research, read some books, and try to pivot. You might feel restless, or maybe you feel guilty when you aren't producing or fulfilling the same role you always have. Or you may even feel invisible because you're not achieving like you used to. You think you're doing something wrong and that you have to maybe get back some part of the life that you had before to feel right again. But that feeling of struggle or restlessness that you're experiencing may not be because you need to go back to your old life. Think of your identity in the first half of your life like a heavy winter coat. So from age 20 to 50, for example, maybe you were in the winter season of life. You were building and surviving and proving yourself. And you needed thick layers to protect you from the elements. Layers of hustle and layers of people-pleasing maybe, or layers of perfectionism. And for a long time, that coat kept you safe. It helped you survive this period in your life. But now, maybe you've walked into the summer of your life. The season has changed. The environment may be warmer or lighter and demands more freedom of movement. But maybe you're still wearing that winter coat. So you could be sweating and exhausted and irritated. You might think it's because you're going about this life at 40 or 50 or beyond in the wrong way. But it's actually because you're still wearing the same thing you wore for the first half of your life, and it's time to change up your look. You're trying to find your new direction, maybe using the same identity that helped you build who you are now. And this isn't just a metaphor. Psychologists have actually mapped out this shift. Let me show you the research behind this, and then I'll give you the solution to help you move forward without you feeling like you have to step back into a life that just doesn't fit you anymore. So for a long time, we thought our personalities were set in stone by the age of 30. But recent research into something called identity fluidity proves that this is wrong. Studies on adult development show that in our 50s, for example, we hit a specific psychological crossroads. We move from a phase driven by competence, where we say things like, am I good enough, to a phase driven more by meaning. Does this matter? Now, I'm saying this happens around the age of 50, but that's just a generalization. You might be in your 40s or your 60s or your 80s or whatever. The point isn't your age, but the way you feel in your life right now. Your brain may be literally trying to rewire itself, and it's looking for meaning now rather than just survival. It's trying to shed that winter coat. But when you cling to your old identity, that old version of you that needed to be the smartest maybe, or the quickest, or the most productive, or the most helpful, or even the most successful, when we cling to that, we're fighting our own brains. So what are we supposed to do instead? Well, first we have to talk about what you really need right now. Let's do that next. The real question is, how do you know who you're supposed to be now? If you're feeling a pull toward a different life, that different life most likely requires a different identity. So that question comes up, who am I now if I'm not mom to the kids? Who am I now if I'm not the top-notch lawyer at the firm? If I've retired, who am I now? If I'm sick of the corporate life, I don't want to be the corporate cog anymore, then who am I now? We think about this outer change in our lives without realizing that there's probably an inner change change going on at the same time. So who are we supposed to be now? Or if we want to continue this analogy, what outfit is best going to suit us for this next part of our lives? And the thing is, we can't just guess, and we can't just pick out a new you out of a catalog. This is where a lot of us can get stuck. We might wait for something from the outside world, like a new relationship or a new job or someone else to tell us who we are now. But if we want to navigate this transition successfully, we have to start tracking the signals that our life is sending us. And I'm not talking about signals out there necessarily in the world. I'm talking about the specific signals that your life is sending you about your own identity. We're used to looking for signals for our next steps in life, like should I move to Florida or should I start that consulting business? But right now, life isn't talking to you about your location or even your job necessarily. It's a signal telling you exactly which part of your identity has expired. So yes, we're talking about your identity here and how it's going through a change, but it needs your help. For example, let's say you've always been the rescuer. You're the one that everyone calls to fix their problems. That identity probably served you well. It made you valuable. But now when the phone rings, you don't feel important. You feel annoyed, irritated, or maybe even just a little tired. That annoyance is a signal, and that's coming from inside you. It's not telling you that your friends or family are annoying. It's telling you that this rescuer identity that you've had is no longer compatible with your new season in life. You're evolving, and you need to step into that next version of you. This is what we have to focus on. We have to try to stop forcing our old selves into this new life that's unfolding, and instead listen to where the friction is so we can start to emerge as this new self with a new identity. Wherever you're feeling the most resistance today, that is exactly where your new identity is trying to break through. So that could be at your job. If you're feeling a lot of friction there, then that's where your new identity is trying to come through. It may be in your family. It may be with your community. It may even be with your sense of purpose in life or meaning in life. Anywhere you're feeling that friction, that irritation, that annoyance, that tiredness, that's where you want to put your attention, because that's where this new identity is trying to poke through for you. So your investigation of the week. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get that I need to change, or I want to change, but change into what? Here's the most important rule of this transition. You can't think your way into a new way of being, even though it would be nice if we could. You have to act your way into it. So we just talked about how you're going to be looking for the friction and what area of your life it shows up in. And in addition to that, you're going to start looking for glimmers. And these are tiny little fleeting sparks of energy. Maybe you're gardening and you lose track of time. Or maybe you read an article about something random, like pottery or history, and you feel a little tug of curiosity. Those moments, that's your new identity coming online for just a few seconds. Try to capture those moments. Write them down, because those little glimmers are the breadcrumbs leading you to your next self. Once you spot a glimmer or a signal, do not overhaul your whole life. Instead, use little micro steps to act your way into your new identity. Let's go back to the rescuer example. You used to be the one who fixed everybody else's crisis, and now that's draining you. But lately, you've noticed a glimmer whenever you walk past the local community garden or a painting studio. You feel a pull to be in this new space. So your micro step isn't to sign up for a year-long membership or become a master gardener necessarily. It's simply to test this out. So you make a deal with yourself. This Saturday, instead of waiting by the phone to be a fixer, I'm going to spend 1 hour in that garden, or I'm going to take that painting class. Then you go and you do that. And then, and this is the crucial part, you check the data. You write down, did you feel guilty the whole time, or did you lose track of time? Did you feel a new sense of flow? If you felt flow, that's your answer, because that's your identity saying, yeah, more of this, please. You see, a new life isn't built by giant leaps of faith. It's built by these tiny little quiet experiments that prove to you and your nervous system that it's safe to step into something new. So if you're feeling that friction today, don't panic. It just means you're ready for the next season of your life.